Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 29th, 2025. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Been having a good day so far. It's been a nice Saturday. Will say I've had a hurt tummy, been kind of going through it, but I'm a stomach ache survivor. I'm a tummy ache warrior. We're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. But no, today has been good. We woke up, we got to the gym pretty early, which was nice. Outside of that, I really haven't done too much, came home, did my home workout as per usual, and here we are doing some podcasting now. But let's talk about last night, because last night was fun. It was interesting. I actually went out for a change. First spot I went to, and this is actually different too, because I didn't go to Northside. I kept it local. It was different vibes. I went to Agave and Rye, which is a spot I haven't been to in a very long time, but it's like a taco place. That's really what they're known for. They call them epic tacos. Uh, Not my favorite in terms of like taco spots, but they definitely do have some interesting tacos on the menu. They have a lot of interesting drinks as well, so that's neat. Now, one drink I got, this was something I wasn't really prepared for, but it was like, I was told, hey, this is a good one, you got to try it. I even had to drink it a certain way, so I was intrigued. And I can't remember the name, it's escaping me, but it was some kind of like buzz flower that was involved. And once again, I don't know what the name is. I really don't even know what the components of the drink was, but it initially kind of had like almost like a smoky flavor to it, which was nice. All right. And so I then get this buzz flower, I eat it, and it kind of does this numbing kind of stingy thing to your mouth, which was neat. That was interesting. It was giving dental. And then I tried the drink again, and I was like, oh, okay. And almost like added this like minty vibe to it. So that was nice. So that was a nice way to start off the meal. And for me, I just got some elote, and then I got the chips with guacamole and some ghost pepper salsa. Which I'm normally an app guy in these situations. I'm not the hugest fan of agave and rice tacos. They're fine if you like them, by all means. But overall, my meal was good. I enjoyed the elote. I got to like kind of mix and match it with the dip and the chips, so that was good. That was yummy. Then after that, went to a bar I'd never been to for karaoke, something I haven't done in a very long time, since I was like a teenager, I think. So I did I did Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. That was my song. And I did what I could. I tried to hit the notes. And then I did the guy part, the Bring Me to Life Evanescence song. So that was fun. It was a good time. I had a good vibe. It was very enjoyable. Um, let's see here. Sorry, I was dealing with some technical difficulty. But yeah, no, overall, it was a good night into another good day. Actually, I did have another late night craving that kind of jammed me up a bit, and that's why my stomach hurt. Because I think it really wasn't the food from Agave and Rye. I think I just overdid it at 1 o'clock. Essentially, I got hungry and I was just at home, and I was just like, you know what? You know what I want? I want some fries. So I air fried up some of my Rally's fries. I added cheese, which was not a good call. I added more nacho cheese, which was even worse, and then some like barbecue sauce and yeah, I think like some sriracha and probably some hot sauce. Look, I was just in my bag. I was hungry, so here we are. But yeah, overall, it was a really fun night. Had a really good time. Had a really good day today. So anyway, enough yapping from me. Enough worrying about technical difficulties from my OBS. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our startup and get into some news. Whew. All right, I wanted to do a quick headline update. Just reading off of Al Jazeera. Myanmar, Thailand earthquake death toll passes 1,600. So the death toll has been like quickly climbing. I don't necessarily think it's because of any of the aftershocks, but just it's just in the initial. It just did so much damage, between Myanmar, all the way out, to Thailand, that there's just still more and more reports coming in terms of recovery and stuff like that. Um, Obviously, very unfortunate, very sad that it's climbing so high so fast. And not to mention, the aftershocks and stuff like that, it not being over technically. It's upsetting as fuck. But I wanted to start off with that just so we didn't lose track of that. And considering, I think when I initially had covered it, it was in the hundreds, so I felt like okay, like that's significantly bigger. Anyway, let's take things to Utah from the Associated Press. Utah bans fluoride in public drinking water, a first in the U.S. Utah has become the first state to ban fluoride in public drinking water, pushing past opposition from dentists and national health organizations who warn the move will lead to medical problems that disproportionately affect low-income communities. Republican Governor Spencer Cox signed legislation Thursday barring cities and communities from deciding whether to add mineral water or add the mineral to their water systems. Florida, Ohio, and South Carolina are considering similar measures, while in New Hampshire, North Dakota, and Tennessee, lawmakers have rejected them. A bill in Kentucky to make fluoridation optional stalled in the state Senate. The American Dental Association sharply criticized the Utah law, saying it showed wanton disregard for oral health and well-being of their constituents. They talk about cavities, quote from dentists. Let's see, is fluoride unhealthful? Some lawmakers say it is. The ban, effective May 7th, brings into the mainstream concerns over fluoridation that for decades were considered fringe opinions. It comes weeks after I cannot say this word, fluoridation skeptic Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was sworn in as U.S. Health Secretary. Kennedy said in November that the administration of then presidential candidate Donald Trump would advise water systems nationwide to remove fluoride. This is something that I really don't like. I think this is really fucked up. I feel like in a lot of these situations, you're drawing conclusions from data that is a bit skewed, saying that, hey, this is potentially causing a risk in children, and it's completely unnecessary to, put the overall community, their health at bay for, a potential, risk. And there is a chance too that when it comes to just the regulation of fluoride, if you don't regulate it properly, it's supposed to be in very low amounts, and you make it, too high, then yes, it's going to cause damage. It's going to cause a problem. But at the low levels that they have it, it is something that is doing a lot of good for the dental health of, a lot of low-income communities and just people in general. I think that that's something that is really just missed upon in this conversation, because people will go, oh, well, that's a cosmetic thing for one, and two, you could just brush your teeth, da 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 da. But once again, when you're looking at, the price of dental care, upkeep, maintenance, that shit is not cheap. Even if you do have insurance, it's not cheap. So the idea that you're just kind of gonna brush this aside and say, oh, it's a nothing issue, and like there's a very small amount of a chance that this might be giving me some kind of brain thing or some kind of, I don't know, cancer or something. When you're really pulling these from, like, once again, either fringe or, in my opinion, skewed studies, I don't feel like it's a good idea to pull this, especially when you have so many health experts saying that this is such a good thing that we have, and we are trying now to dismantle it, starting with Utah. I'm obviously scared about it too, because, Ohio got mentioned, that's where I'm at. So it's a shame that it's just, the second this administration comes in and you get RFK Jr., talking that shit, everyone kind of only wants to take a bite of this shit and just kind of get rid of it. But I mean, I can at least understand the other side. I do, the idea of saying, hey, this being a government thing and like we don't have any say so, yada yada yada, you feel infringed upon. But I don't know. I mean, if that's the way you feel about it, you probably don't want to drink the water anyway, right? Like you can just get your own bottled water. I don't know, like do your own thing. But I do think that this is a bummer that Utah is doing this and other states are potentially going to follow it. But yeah, I will just leave this at my riff. I mean, I know there's more details here, but we got other articles. We have other articles to cover. I got an update coming out of the next story from USA Today. From Sean Kingston and his mother. I don't know if you remember that incident that came up with them getting arrested. Anyway, Sean Kingston and mother found guilty of fraudulently obtaining luxury watches car. Let's say, maybe I shouldn't say arrested, put on trial. How about that? Sean Kingston and his mother, Janice Turner, have been convicted of federal wire charges. On Friday, a jury found the Beautiful Girl singer and his mom guilty of all charges against them following a 5-day trial, according to court documents reviewed by the USA Today. They face 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and 4 counts of wire fraud. Excuse me. Turner was remanded into U.S. Marshals custody, and the judge recommended her incarceration at Miami Federal Detention Center until her sentencing. Kingston, whose real name is Keyshawn Paul Anderson, will have his bond terms modified to include home detention with electronic monitoring, with $200,000 in cash to be turned over to the U.S. District Court for Southern Florida. Kingston, 35, and Turner are scheduled to be sentenced on July 11th. Each count has a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison. In respective statements to USA Today on Saturday, lawyers for the mother-son duo responded to their convictions. We do not agree with this verdict. We are thankful that Mr. Kingston was allowed to remain on bond while awaiting sentencing. We will file an appeal at that time, a lawyer for Kingston said Saturday. Let's see if this thing cooperates. More or less echoing statements from Turner's lawyer as well. Let's breeze past that. According to the mother and son July indictment, the duo conspired to commit wire fraud between April of 2023 and March of 2024. In other words, they showed intent to defraud and to obtain money and property by means of materially false and fraudulent pretenses, representations, and promises. The indictment claimed Kingston and Turner sought to unjustly enrich themselves by falsely representing that they had executed bank wire or other monetary payment transfers as payment for vehicles, jewelry, and other goods. They were accused of keeping the items despite never paying for them. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida also alleged Kingston leveraged his celebrity status and often persuaded his victim vendors to stray from their regular business practices and convinced them to either supply or deliver their goods and services prior to receipt of full payment. I think when we initially covered the story, there was an incident where he had gotten a lot of equipment and stuff for doing like a project that he said he was going to do with this company. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll get you like, all the shit that you need. I think he even got some like TVs and stuff. And essentially, I think he maybe made 1 or 2 payments on it and then just stopped paying. And they're like, dude, like you got to pay us. And then I think he didn't even like show up to do shows and things of that nature that were a part of his contract that he essentially sets up with these people. So him and his mother were playing very fast and loose with the fame. And I don't know about you, but I really hadn't heard too much, from Sean Kingston outside of the Beautiful Girls thing. So, I mean, kind of crazy that he shifted to scheming and scamming like this so aggressively, but it seems like it did catch up with him. Let's read a little bit further. From October 2023 through March of 2024, the Broward Sheriff's Office alleges Kingston and his mother participated in a systematic, ongoing course of conduct with intent to defraud 1 or more persons. or with intent to obtain property from one or more persons by false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, or promises, or willful representations of a future act. So yeah, he's in alerts right now. It's not looking good for our crooner. Can you call Sean Kingston a crooner? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's not the right word. Anyway, we have one more thing I wanted to cover, and then we'll go ahead and call it an episode. We're gonna get down to some coffee. We gotta talk about some bad grounds. Anyway, let's take our last break, and we'll close it out. All right, and we're back. Our last story comes from People. FDA issues recall for coffee grounds in 15 states. Coffee lovers will need to double check the label of their favorite morning pick me up beverage. On Tuesday, March 25th, the Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, issued a Class 2 recall on Massimo Zanetti Beverage USA. The parent company provides coffee products to retailers, one of which is Our Family. The recall, voluntarily initiated by Massimo Zanetti Beverage USA, was initiated on Thursday, March 13th, as of writing. The recall has yet to be terminated. According to the report, the recall was because of a mislabeling issue. A portion of the production of Our Family Traverse City ground coffee was mislabeled as decaffeinate, reads the report. As a Class 2 risk, coming into contact with or being exposed to the contaminated product may cause temporary or medically reversible health consequences, though the chances of a person becoming seriously harmed are minimal. So this is a very light one. Obviously, though, if you're reaching for the decaf and it's not decaf actually, and it's caffeinated, that's a different day for you. That's a different scenario for you, right? So you got to be careful with that. Naturally in these kind of situations, you can, check your receipts or, take it to, the store you got it from, get your exchange money back, whatever, or you can just throw it away if it's that deep for you. Completely understood. You know what I mean? You buy what you need to get for a reason. So there's 15 states that this potentially affects. It had the best buy date of August 8th, 2025. The recall included 692 cases of contaminated product. We're not going to go through all the states. I don't feel like it. I guess for the local sense, for the local yokels, Ohio is mentioned. So if you got any of Our Family coffee, be careful, be aware. They also mentioned another thing here, another recall that I don't think I covered, so I figured we can just go ahead and run this. This recall is just one of many that have already happened this year, with one even being coffee-related in nature. Earlier this month, the FDA issued a recall over 75,000 bottles of International Delight coffee creamers. Denomi LLC, the parent company of the brand, reported receiving complaints of spoilage and illness, which also constituted a Class 2 risk classification. A representative from Dano North America, in a statement obtained by People at the time, confirmed the texture issue. That's more of a That's less of a texture issue. My problem, and more of like, this kid like fucking killing me. I don't know. Maybe I'm hyping it up too much, but that's gross. That's upsetting. Ugh, yuck. I'm getting anecdotal now as we close out, but yeah, I love creamer when it comes to coffee. It's an important thing. I wish I was like a black coffee enjoyer. I'm really not. I mean, I will sometimes get a little bit more into it, get a little out of it, but I overall am part of Cream Team. I'm Cream Nation. So I prefer it, but like I cannot keep any liquid based creamer in my house because it will spoil. Like I always have that issue, and then I always just hate that feeling of seeing how it separates badly, and you know it's bad. Ugh, I hate that. It's such an upsetting moment because I went through all the effort to make the coffee. So I've gotten to the point where I'm just using the really shitty powder creamers these days. And that sucks for me. I hate that, but you do what you gotta do, you know? Anyway, that's all I really have for today. That'll be the episode. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Spotify. Follow me on Apple for podcasts. All those are good ways to keep up with the podcast, help out the effort, because, helps out the boost the algorithm or whatever. I think so. Whatever, maybe. Leave a comment. Sharing is caring. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.